big boost from Make in India. As per reports, iPhone exports from India have grown in the recent few months. As per reports, Apple has now reduced its dependency on China, as the Apple's iPhone exports from India have jumped by a third in the 6 months through September, underscoring its push to expand manufacturing in the country and reduce its dependency on China. My colleague Sharad gets us more on that.
Apple has managed to beat its own effort, export records from last year, and they've jumped up by a third. They've actually shipped $6 billion worth of iPhones in the first few months of this fiscal year. There are a couple of things to note here, and let me start by the biggest. These are made in India iPhones. Secondly, this number could actually touch $10 billion by the time fiscal year 2024 ends. Third, this means dependence on China is going down even more. In India, Apple has 3 major suppliers down south. One is Foxconn, the other one is Pegatron, and then there's Tata Group, who just recently bought their unit from Wistron. The story of Apple actually trying to localize in India, that goes back to 2017, but was majorly assembling back then. This year, however, the news of Apple making the Pro models in India, that caught favorable, reasonable attention, because the 16 Pro and the 16 Pro Max, they're the costliest products in the 16 lineup. Small little breakdown helps understand the scale of this entire picture also. iPhones make up a huge major chunk in overall smartphone exports from India, and while this number stood at around $2.88 billion for exports to the US in the beginning of this fiscal year, first five months, 5 years ago, the annual number of these exports to US stood at just $5.2 million. This is in line with Apple's India expansion plans, with new retail stores being planned, a lot of marketing efforts going, and increased focus on manufacturing being optimized here. Apple, however, still holds less than 10%, around 7% of share in India. That doesn't reflect the aspirational value that the brand holds in India. India is a huge character in Apple's global story. Apple is banking heavily on local subsidiaries, workforce that is skilled and easily available in India, and overall technological advancements that India is making. Like we said, post-COVID, there has been an active effort to stop complete dependence on China for manufacturing by a lot of companies, Apple included. A position that is being actively targeted by India.